Before the break, we discussed Matt Eberflus being fired. We move on to discuss the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles have improved to 10-2 on the year after their win over the Baltimore Ravens. Impressive win in the fact that they went into Baltimore, a Baltimore team that is really respected, not just in the AFC, but in the NFL in general, with their prospects of, potentially being in the Super Bowl this year with what they also accomplished last season. Is a Ravens team that a lot of people believe in. And what the Philadelphia Eagles did in limiting that, in that high-flying Baltimore Ravens offense, what they did to, limit Derrick Henry to 19 carries for 82 yards, the penetration that defensive line got. I think at certain periods, manhandling this Baltimore Ravens offensive line. I thought that Eagles defensive line was electric. I thought the Eagles played a composed game. I thought there were certain periods in this game that they tended to get a little bit away from Saquon Barkley, and they turned, a little bit more on a drop-back pass team, which is not the strength of Philadelphia. And I think there were certain periods in this game that they struggled offensively. But when they got the ball to Saquon Barkley's hand, when they took advantage of play action, RPOs, all that, they looked dangerous. And, they are coming into this game short-handed with the Devontae Smith not being able to really go. But the Philadelphia Eagles were still able to get on the win sheet with the win, and they've been impressive. And if you look at where this team is now compared to where they were after that loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe it was in week 4 of the season or week 3 of the season, where they, that was when they when is that? That was probably week 4 of the season, where they are now compared to then, or even, compared to that, that narrow win they had over the Cleveland Browns, in which they looked pretty bad in that game as well. This is a completely different team with what Saquon Barkley is able to do in the run game, how Jalen Hurts looks like a new quarterback, where they're not forcing him to be a drop back 20-30 pass per game quarterback. The balance that they have defensively, the penetration this defensive line is getting, how on both sides, the trenches, they're able to dominate. They're able to move guys in the run game, and they're able to, get penetration and stopping the run, and they're able to rush the passer as well. Not as electric as the Eagles' pass rush was a few years ago when they reached the Super Bowl, but still an opportunistic pass rush. Jalen Carter, what a defensive tackle. Could argue he's the best defensive tackle in football. He's been incredible. He's been incredible, not just in the run game, but, his rushing the passer as well. He's incredible. He is a really, really dominant player, and he deserves a lot of respect. Look, with the Baltimore Ravens, their losses, are almost the same. By the way, remarkable stat. The Baltimore Ravens entered this game, or Lamar Jackson entered this game, in his last 24 starts against the NFC, or 25 starts in the NFC. Entering this game, he is 24-1. He now falls to 24-2. He lost his first 2 ever games against the NFC, but since then he's been 24-1, and now he's 24-2 with this loss. So his career in the NFC, I believe he's 24-4, or 23. No, he's 23-4 against the NFC. So he's in his last 25 games, he's 23-2 with this loss. He entered this game 23-1. and then against the NFC. So there's not a huge precedence of this happening um, for Lamar. But if with the Baltimore Ravens, these losses, it always seems like, you go back to that Chiefs loss as well. When the Ravens lose, it just seems like they lose because they can't get it going offensively. They look lackluster. The other team is able to limit Lamar Jackson's running lanes, or Lamar Jackson is limiting his own self in terms of not taking the lanes when they come, which I saw. I noticed that yet again today. I don't think they abandoned Derrick Henry. I just feel like anytime Derrick Henry got the ball, there was, that Eagles defensive line was there ready to pounce. He could never get to the second level on a consistent basis. And that was so impressive to me with how physical and, this Philadelphia Eagles team is a bully. Defensive line bullying teams, offensive line bullying teams, Jalen Hurts with his physicality bullying teams, A.J. Brown with his physicality. They are a bully football team, and they are very, very physical. And if you compare this unit defensively compared to last season, we're talking night and day. We're talking night and day with this Eagles team. Going back to the Baltimore Ravens, though, it's like these losses keep happening where they can't get anything going offensively. They're really struggling to stop the bleeding in terms of, being able to get points on the board. And then they're getting points late when it doesn't matter. Like they had that likely touchdown at the end. But when it matters, they're struggling to move the ball. And they're not making the right plays at the end to finish off drives. I mean, Justin Tucker missed 3 field goals today. What can I say? And he's been not good this season, to say the least. He's missed a total. I believe he's missed 7 kicks this season. I'd have to check. No, he's missed 8 kicks this season, missed 2 extra points. So a total of 10 kicks this season, 19 of 27. 70% as a field goal kicker is pretty bad. I mean, that is well below the presidency set. I mean, this is a guy in Justin Tucker that's had a season where he's kicked 97%. He's had another season where he kicked 94%. He's had another season where he kicked 96%. He has a precedence of excellence. He's a career. He entered this career, I believe it was around 90%. Now he's 89. This season it has drastically dropped his level. His 8 kicks that he's missed this season is a remarkable number. I never thought we'd see this. I think every kicker has their case of the yips. I do have to say, I think every kicker does have you look at Chris Boswell. He's been remarkable for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. He's kicking at a 91.9% percentage. He's had seasons where he's really, really struggled. In 2022, he kicked 71.4%. In 2018, he kicked 65%. Sometimes the kickers do go get the yips. And when the confidence goes, it goes with the kickers. And it's a little bit of a struggle to get it back. I think the whole moving on from Justin Tucker thing is just wolf talk, and it's just people being emotional, and it's just ridiculous. I think he will eventually regain his, confidence and mojo and all that. It's just a rough position he finds himself in. And people are talking about his age 35. Well, 35 is not particularly old for a kicker. Let's just be for real. This is not a guy that's fallen out of his prime. This is a guy that's just had a low moment in his career. And it's going to happen. Eventually, you play long enough, even if you're as great as Justin Tucker is, you will go through that period. You just, if you're a Ravens fan, you hope that he figures it out going down the stretch. You don't want this to be the reason why you lose a playoff game, obviously. And it's not the greatest position to be in the world with not having much confidence in your kicker at this moment. But, yeah. I think that's not the problem. That's not a huge problem there. And I just think this Ravens team, I really struggle to believe in Tom in terms of in terms of reaching that next level and getting to that Super Bowl. Because why should I believe what happened today is not gonna happen in the playoffs when they go up against the Chiefs again? How can I believe that? How can I believe what happened today was not gonna happen when they go up against the Steelers in the playoffs? Why? You know, what makes me believe that they're going to go and win 3 games in the AFC or even 2 games in the AFC? No, they're not getting a bye, actually. So what makes me believe they're going to win 3 games in the AFC? I just think with this Baltimore Ravens team, we know what they are, we know what they're not. This is not a team as good as last season. They're more flawed of a team as last season. Their record shows, and the fact that 8-5. But I guess when people want to analyze them, they want to forget that because, well, they are the Baltimore Ravens and they do have Lamar Jackson and they do have Derrick Henry and all that. But, they have a defense, a secondary that can give up big plays. They have an offense that at moments could be limited, as we saw against the Steelers, as we saw today against Philadelphia. So I think the Baltimore Ravens are the Baltimore Ravens. And as the great Blair Walsh once said, you are what your record says they are. And the record says they're 8-5, which is not a great team, but a good team. The Denver Broncos are 8-5 as well. We're not talking about them in terms of reaching the Super Bowl, but for some reason we are with Baltimore. I don't understand why. I think this Baltimore Ravens team is pretty overrated. And if you look at the class of the AFC, I think they are a step below the Kansas Cities, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills, who I'm still a little iffy about, but I'll put them in there for now. I think this Baltimore Ravens team is a class below those teams, and it's probably around that Chargers range.